Welcome, listeners. Welcome to the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon podcast. So, if you've been listening, we've been talking to business leaders across Asia, and it is my mission to share their stories here. And today, we have our very own first fitness guest on the podcast. So, I'm a bit excited. And today, I'll ask him a ton of questions about fitness. So, before I bring him on, I would like to introduce him as well. So, he is the elite performance by Andrew. So we have Andrew Liew with us, and he is based in Borneo, right? So not many of my guests, actually, possibly my first guest from Borneo. So he's also the head coach at Rebel Fitness Studio Kuching. So Kuching, if you don't know, my listeners, it is the capital of Sarawak State in Malaysia. So Andrew Liew, he is a health, body, and energy coach, and he helps people to live a pain-free, fit, and high energy fulfilling life, right? So he helps 40s and above to build an age-proof, youthful body. So a lot of statements there, and I'll get into questions in regards to that as well. So Andrew, welcome to the show.
Hi, hello.
All the way from Sarawak, right? So my first question, Andrew, right? So I like to ask this question to all my guests, which is, what is your favorite Kung Fu movie?
My favorite Kung Fu movie is not a typical Asian Kung Fu movie, but it's more towards the Western side. If you'll remember, there's a movie by Arnold Schwarzenegger. What is it called? Commando. So it's where he's a retired commando. He wanted a peaceful life. Retired in the some valley area, and then not sure what happened. Couldn't really quite remember, but his daughter was being kidnapped. And then from that point on, the old commando decided to come back out again. And what made me like that movie is that he had to figure out different ways to overcome the obstacles in order to get his daughter back safe and sound.
Sounds like a great movie, Andrew. So just for the audience, that movie is way back, right? Way back. It's a 1985 film. So way back, but it sounds like a good story. And funny enough, Arnold is actually one of the careers that I look up to, because he has 3 careers in his lifetime. Including what you mentioned, he started his career in fitness. In bodybuilding, right? In bodybuilding, and then he had, of course, as we know, he had a career in acting as well, which is still currently going. And of course, he was the governor of California. So he's someone I really look up to, and his autobiography is actually on my read list, and I really want to read it someday as well. But having said that, fun fact, I'm also watching something on Netflix that is with Arnold, which is Full Bar, right? So that is something I am in the midst of watching at the moment. So good that you mentioned that as well, right? So yeah, let's get into it. But before that, I think I just want to ask a funny, a big question to throw you off a bit, right? So Andrew does not, if you can listen here, Andrew has a great voice for a podcast, right? He has this deep resonating voice, but his accent, right, does not sound very Malaysian. I've been wanting to ask him for a while about this. So, but I also listen to other podcasts which he was interviewed from, and I know he has a career in Singapore before this. My first question is like, Andrew, where do you get your accent?
You see, my entire family speaks English to me, and my family on my dad's side, they're very diverse in culture. So that's where I guess I got exposed to them at a very young age. Yeah.
Awesome. I would have guessed that you live abroad or something. So that is awesome. Like, just for the information, not all Malaysians sounds like Andrew. He has a great voice. Like, Andrew, okay, if you don't do fitness, please consider doing a podcast or a DJ or something. That is the best bassy voice to have on all shows. That's why when I heard, I said, yes, need to get Andrew on the pod, right? So before I get into the questions, is like, I'd like to, can you tell the audience, like, how do you get into fitness, a bit about your story as well?
Okay. So let's see. Years ago, I was actually a chef, right? I was an overweight chef. I was more comfortable cooking up steaks than pumping iron. See, so what changed? What changed was basically when I started losing people that I cared for to health issues. And that's where I decided to, you know what, maybe it's time for me to take charge of my health. And let me just say that my first week in the gym wasn't the most gracious one. I went in, spent, if I'm not wrong, I spent close to 3 hours in the gym trying to figure out what every single machine does. And I gave up. I literally quit working out because I find it complicated. I find it confusing and I find it painful. And what reignite that need and that want to actually head back to train again was because of, I would say, social influence as well on the side. You know, I was in a way, when I was working in the kitchen, I had the opportunity to serve several guests in person as well. And so happened that one of the guests was a bodybuilder, and it caught my attention. And I was like, man, I don't want to look like this in my chef jacket. I want to look good wearing the chef jacket. Yeah, and that's when it actually started. My journey towards this transformative journey started from there. And even it even continued on as I traveled to Singapore to work as a chef. The gym that I joined in Singapore, what was it? I think it was called Pure Fitness. Yeah. So I was there for a little bit and I hired a coach. And that was when I actually dropped from 110 kilos all the way down to 70 kilos in a span of 3 months. So I decided to continue on even after I came back to Kuching. And the journey hasn't stopped. You know, so I went from a chef to a bodybuilder to a powerlifter and eventually to a personal coach. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that story. Yeah, if you want to know more about that story, you can check out an interview he did with Mark previously as well. Just search for Andrew, and that is more a background story. So today we'll not go into the origin story so much, but thanks for so much for sharing. So just to give a bit of context to the guests. So I always like to start the questions with this, right? So I call this the selfish question, right? So I will ask you about myself, so like sort of get a free consultation while you're here on the pod, right? So
All right.
Okay, I like that you shared you were from 110 kilos to 70 kilos, around there. So I also have fitness chat. I'm working on my fitness. I do exercise. Okay, I'll just tell you what I'm going through right now. So I am how fat am I? Sorry, I'm 80, 85 kilos at the moment. Okay, 85 kilos.
Okay.
And by right, my BMI, I should be 75 kilos. So I'm maybe like 10 kilos, not maybe 10 kilos overweight. What I do currently, so like let's say I'm a client, so I'll share what I'm doing at the moment. So what I do currently, of course, I'm trying to diet. I'm trying to eat healthy. And I exercise. I don't have a lot of time, which I think is a lot of your clients that you work with. I exercise. I don't have a lot of time. So what I do when I exercise, I do a lot of things that I love, that I enjoy. Like I love rhythmic boxing, and I love rhythmic cycling as well. So you have not heard me say the word weights yet, so it's not part of it at the moment, because I at the moment I need to find things that I like to do, so I do it. That's my current stage, right? So yeah, a bit overweight. I used to be 75 about 5 years ago. Now I'm overweight because of COVID and a lot of things. So like if you were working with a client of me, like what would, like, I'm open. You can trash me. You can say, Bob, you're shit. You should do this. But what would your advice be for me?
Okay. So first thing I would say is let's not look at BMI.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
So the issue with BMI is that it doesn't take the weight of your organs into consideration, right? It takes everything. Like, okay, I'll take myself for example. When I was competing in bodybuilding, right? I was at my heaviest at 96 kilos, but my body fat was 3%. based on BMI, I am still level 2 obese. You see the issue here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead, what I would get most of my clients to focus on, it's how they feel when they put on their old clothes,
Mm.
right? Try not to rely too much on the scale as well. Why is that? The scale can be an indicator, but it doesn't actually tell you what weight have you gained, whether you have gained muscle weight, whether you have gained fat or water.
Mm.
So that's the issue with the scale. The main thing that you can do is to put on all clothes, all pants, and see how they feel, right? Or there's another thing that I would like to get my clients to do, which is the Homer Simpson test.
Okay.
Yep. So you literally, well, if you want to go naked, go naked. If you want to put on your underpants, wear your underpants, stand in front of the mirror and jump. So whatever jiggles has to go. Yep.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah,
So for you, you've done rhythmic boxing. Awesome. Yeah, you've done rhythmic cycling. Awesome.
yeah.
But
I think let's talk about a bit about the Homer first. So yeah, that is one of
yeah,
my goals.
yeah,
I think yeah, the weight is just an indicator. What I really want
yeah.
is to look good at the beach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is look okay lah, right? Not six
Okay.
pack, but not like Homer Simpson
Mm-hmm.
at the beach. I don't want to be Homer Simpson at the beach, right? So yeah, back to your point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before we get to the exercise itself, right?
Mm.
Let's talk about your diet. You said you've gone tried dieting before, right? So what have you tried?
Not something drastic. Sorry, not something
Okay.
drastic. Not
Okay.
something drastic. I would say I try not eating so much. Uh, so not eating so much fast food. Possibly that is one way of thinking about it. Not eating so much. I try to eat more protein based things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the best, but with time, I don't have time to cook. Probably is my biggest
Okay.
excuse. But yeah. So in terms of diet, uh, I don't think I'm doing too much, but
Mm-hmm.
I am not going overboard. Like I'm not drinking Milo or taking on sugar or theta rate things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that is not diet, but it is it is. I'm trying to manage the diet. Is probably what I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say if I were to take you in as my client right now,
Mm,
what I would get you to do is to send me photos of your food daily, right?
mm,
And it's gonna help me to gauge whether you're having enough nutrients in terms of carbohydrates, in terms of protein, in terms of fat.
mm,
You know, because you're saying that you're eating mainly protein, okay?
mm,
But the thing is that I do not know how much you're having now.
mm,
Are you having
mm,
too little or are you having too much?
mm,
Because this is where the misconception happens is that, oh, I'm eating protein only. So it means I can eat more.
mm.
Calories are still calories,
Yeah.
you know. So it doesn't mean that if you're eating good, you're eating clean, it doesn't mean that you can eat a lot more,
Mm,
you know. And the other misconception is, I would say, carbohydrates. A lot of
mm.
people will have the ideas like, oh, if I want to get lean, if I want to look good at a beach and not look like Homer Simpson, I should ditch that dough, right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the case because the only time carbs can harm you is when you overindulge in them.
Mm,
If you're gonna be like Homer, who one time can, I would say, have like 6 donuts at once, that's gonna be an issue, right? However, having just probably 1 donut or 2 donuts a week, that's fine. Carbs itself, it's not the enemy. Yeah. And again, different sports or different activity requires different amount of carbs. So yeah. And then comes your hydration. How much water are you drinking a day?
mm.
You know, hydration plays a huge role.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm. So I'm pretty sure most people, again, I'm not saying everyone,
Mm,
but there's still a lot of people who would have the idea of the more water I drink, the more water I would retain.
Mm.
But actually, it's the other way around. The more water you drink, the less water you retain.
Okay.
Yes. So this is still part of my mission that I'm still trying to change the idea here.
Mm.
So by right, as adults, we need to have at least 2.5 to 3 liters of water a day, daily.
Mm.
That doesn't include juice, coffee, tea, just good old plain water.
Mm.
Mhm.
3 liters. Okay. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. All right. Um, and then the frequency, how much are you eating a day?
Mm.
So that is something that I would ask from you when you first hop on with me,
Mm.
and I will look through what you've sent me for the first week, and then I will meet you in the middle without changing your dietary needs too much.
Ah.
Yes, because I don't believe in just having steamed chicken breast and steamed broccoli. Right? It's boring.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
Yep.
It is.
Mhm. And then we'll come to your workout.
Okay.
Okay, so rhythmic boxing as well as rhythmic cycling. How
Mm.
often?
2 to 3 times per week. Yeah.
2 to 3 times per week. Okay. Other than those, are there anything else that you do physically?
I try to do push-ups,
Okay.
like maybe 60 push-ups,
Mm-hmm.
um, every day or something. So that is just to keep myself active if I don't go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I don't have a lot of exercise in throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, walking is part of my day and things like that, but not specifically like gym sessions or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you haven't early on you said like I haven't touched the word weight yet, but when you do push-ups, it's already part of resistance training. You're pushing your own
Ah,
weight,
okay, okay.
right? Right. So I do have clients that has never been to the gym, and all they do is home exercises with some dumbbells.
Mm,
Yeah. The main thing for a person to lose body fat is to build up more lean muscles.
mm,
How? Through resistance training.
mm,
Because what you're doing there, rhythmic boxing, rhythmic cycling, it's very cardio dominant. It's very cardio based.
mm,
And nothing wrong with that. You're gonna lose weight. But when we talk about weight, again, what weight are we trying to lose here? Is it body fat? Is it
mm,
muscles?
mm.
So it's two very different things.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Mhm. So
yeah.
my suggestion is that maybe you want to try to add in, just try it out,
Mm.
30 minutes of weight training in a gym or something. Doesn't take
Ah,
much time, 5-minute warm up, 25 minutes resistant training, 5 minutes to cool down, and you're done, good to go.
okay, okay. So we
Hmm.
don't need to get into specifics there.
Yep.
But as a Asian culture, you work in Singapore, so you know the word kiasu. So
Yep.
is 30 minutes enough?
Oh, it's more than enough.
It's not enough.
I do post on my IG story daily.
Mm,
Except this past couple of days, I've been pretty busy.
mm,
I do post the amount of time that I spend training myself.
mm,
So the most 32 minutes, and I'm
mm,
done.
mm,
And currently, I'm still on my journey to get lean again.
mm.
Yeah, so it's possible.
And
Mm.
one of the things I face, right? So I think when it comes to weights, we have this misconception. So like if I took an online course,
Mm-hmm.
I like how I learn things, right? So I took an online course, and when you read online, they always say, need to go to gym. Not they say lah, but it's like they split the gym days into 5 days, right? Yeah, one day
Mm-hmm.
for chest, one day for legs, one day for
Mm-hmm.
arms or back or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say 30 days a day, 30 minutes per day, is it every day or how do you do it in a week?
Okay, if you're really busy, I wouldn't use that cycle.
Mm,
So what you've just mentioned there is a very typical bodybuilding format.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So everyone needs some form of customization or personalization to fit whatever they're doing. It doesn't need to be like strictly bodybuilding style unless
Mm,
you have the time for it, right?
mm,
Um, in your case, because time is constrained, where I would come in is that I would suggest you to try 30 minutes of full body exercise,
mm,
which includes your upper body and lower body.
mm,
That's what I did with my clients as well, who are time constrained. So when they come in, we'll target full body. And that way, if they miss a session, at least we were able to get a full body workout in that targets every single part.
mm.
So saves time. You still target your entire body. And how many times should you be doing? I would say try at least a minimum of 3 times a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, three
Okay.
times a week.
Good
Mhm.
to know. Good to know. All right.
Yep.
So I like your approach. It feels very practical and it
Mhm.
feels like not very, because I think what is in the market out there, like you said, it is the bodybuilding cycle, right?
Yes.
So a lot of
Yes.
the information out there and on Instagram, especially on Instagram, or YouTube, right? It
Yep.
is for bodybuilders rather than the average person. So a lot of people feel overwhelmed, including myself. I feel overwhelmed, like, oh, might as well
Mhm.
not do. That's why I stick, okay lah. What what I feel most excited to do, I just do. So
Yep.
so yeah, like what are the common misconceptions that you see out there when it comes to all the fitness information?
Um, Common misconceptions. Ooh, I actually have quite a few. So the first common misconception, I would say, trendy diets,
Mm,
right? Um, Especially the ones that are being endorsed by celebrities. We have big issue here, right? They are celebrities. Let them do what they do, right? Whereas when we talk about health, let the health practitioners do what they do.
mm,
Right? So this is where people often fall for diets that are in vogue, hoping for a quick results, but the issue is that these diets often exclude essential nutrients and can actually lead to imbalances.
mm,
So what we need to focus on is that we need a sustainable approach that is balanced, that includes a variety of nutrients like, you know, um, having an adequate amount of carbohydrates, protein, and fat. You
mm,
know, and I know lately there's a lot of I'm not sure what West Malaysia is like, but currently in Kuching, people are talking about the keto diet, again, the paleo diet. It's like if you look at all these diets, right? The keto diet, paleo diet, intermittent fasting, I'm not trying to say that they do not work. They do work, but all of them, they fall under one category, which is calorie deficit.
mm,
So if you want to lose weight, hop onto calorie deficit. If you want to gain weight, hop onto calorie surplus.
mm.
And just all I can say is that avoid anything that has a face of celebrity there. They did not get there by doing those stuff or eating those stuff, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a good point because celebrities, when you see them, especially a lot of the celebrities they like to refer are like James Bond or
Mm-hmm.
the Marvel superhero actors, right? They do that diet because they are paid millions of dollars to do so, and they take on the risk of malnutrition or injury or whatever
Yep.
because it is an occupational hazard. It's not. It is.
Exactly.
They take it as they say, okay, I do go through this. I'm going to get whatever, but I'm paid to do this. I have to sacrifice, right? That's how they think about it.
Yep.
So,
Exactly. I mean, if we take a look at Zac Efron, um few months back he actually came out talking about why he didn't like the way he looked when he was filming Baywatch.
mm,
There was some amount of steroids being used, to be that lean is not sustainable.
mm,
And he wasn't at his happiest. Yeah, you might say like, hey Zach, I mean that's the body I want. That's the body I dream of. A bitch body that doesn't look like Homer Simpson, right? But is he happy? No, you know. So now you've got 6 packs. Then what? That's the thing.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it is. So yeah, maybe I will invent something called the Homer Simpson diet and just eat donuts. Right. Anyway,
All right.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I think very fun fact about you that you used to be a chef, right?
Hmm.
So like the question that you asked me initially was that, what is your diet, right? So I live in KL,
Hmm.
and people who live in Kuching will have the same challenges as well, time and logistics, and time to
Yes.
cook is a challenge.
Hmm.
So being a chef and you you can cook. So what is your advice for that? Do you meal prep? Do you order a food subscription? What do you normally do when it comes to that?
Okay. Um, I'm gonna come in with 2 angles here, right?
Mm,
So first angle is that I don't always meal prep, but when I do, I will meal prep everything on a Sunday.
mm.
So I make sure I get all my food fixed for 2 meals a day. So 2 meals from my meal prep, one from outside. So when I head out, coming in from another angle again, if you're a person that doesn't have time to cook or do not know how to cook, right? If you're gonna eat out, no worries. The main thing that you need to focus on is protein. Protein will always be number one, right? Whatever you can find out there. For example, what would you pick for, let's say, dinner?
My dinner, it's quite random. But let me think. Let me think. What I had for dinner yesterday. I had, okay, very random stuff. Okay, yesterday is not a good day. So okay,
Okay.
but possibly I would go for some combination of rice and meat. That's
Okay.
normal. I eat a lot of, so my healthiest meal would be the breakfast brunch sort of thing where I have my eggs and sliced beef and whatever. But dinner,
Hmm.
it depends because I I do a lot of business, so a lot of
Yep.
my food, it depends where I am. So yesterday I
Hmm.
was I was at a music event, so I had no choice but eat the bar food, right? So it depends where I am and depends what is the appointment. But I try to eat healthy in the day and include
Hmm.
all
Hmm.
the proteins like scrambled eggs and beef, whatever in the morning,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
not so much carbs. In the
Hmm.
evening, I would indulge a bit more. I would go for things with rice and, like, for example, beef, something rice or something.
Hmm.
So that is what I do in the evening.
Yeah, and nothing wrong with that. So if you're gonna order beef and rice, I would say coming from where you want to be to lose the weight, probably half the rice and
Mm-hmm.
finish the beef.
Mm.
You know, and then when you talk about bar food, you know, let's try not to restrict ourselves, right? What we're only humans anyway. Um, so what are the bar foods that you had?
I had, of course, French fries.
Okay.
Of course, bars includes a lot of alcohol. I had French fries.
Hmm.
I had chicken wings. The
Okay.
typical Homer Simpson bar food, right? Just no
Okay.
donuts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So just like my clients, they have to go out to certain events, right? So,
Mm,
so let's say if they were out, they're gonna go out tonight, and they know that there's gonna be drinking involved. What I would normally get them to do is that watch their food throughout the day. Make sure they get enough nutrients in throughout the day before their drinking session, and make sure they hydrate extra
mm,
before their drinking session. This is to ensure your metabolism keeps moving. Then comes the drinking session. I would get them to choose. If you get to choose your drinks, I would suggest probably go for some hard liquor or probably wine. You having a glass or two of beer is fine,
mm.
but this is where you need to make the choice. So if you're gonna drink and you're gonna eat, we're gonna have some issues there because when the food goes in, and alcohol goes in, the body will not process the alcohol. The body will not process the food. Instead, it's going to process the alcohol. It will try to get rid of the alcohol from your body, leaving the food sitting in there as unused calories. And that's when you start to have excess calories just sitting there, slowly forming your Homer Simpson body.
Oh no.
Yeah, because alcohol, it's technically poison. Yeah,
Mm, mm,
so your body will always try ways to fight poison out of your body.
mm,
So if you're gonna eat, I would say if you do not have the choice and you have to entertain people, um, instead of fries, I would just opt for the chicken wings.
mm.
Hmm.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think one tip I get from there is maybe I will eat my dinner before I go to bars, and then I don't have to eat.
yeah,
So
yeah. Why not? The
yeah.
thing is that once you start having food, they're more nutrient dense as opposed of calorie dense, you will actually feel full longer.
Mm.
Hmm.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for sharing that. I actually might be going out tonight as well. So so that's a
Make
good
sure you
tip.
drink some water.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So I think that is a great advice there, and a lot of people listening. So like my audience will be people mainly from LinkedIn.
Yep,
I think that would be great advice there. A lot of them attend functions and stuff.
yep.
And let me bounce off, right, some questions about some types of exercises. Okay, it might
Okay,
be
okay,
controversial, might be not, right? So
okay.
like I've seen a few, like a lot of my friends who work out regularly, they are
Hmm.
into CrossFit.
Okay.
Yeah, CrossFit. So it is a group program. I understand the appeal, because it's a
Hmm.
group challenge that they do together,
Yep,
and
yep.
there's a lot of goals to hit and things like that. I considered,
Mhm.
but it was not my thing. But a lot of my friends regularly do things like CrossFit. But I need thoughts on that you can share.
Okay, so when it comes to CrossFit itself, um, again, I don't do CrossFit.
Mm,
Never been a fan, but nothing against it. Okay. The the issue with CrossFit is when the classes gets too big, this is where techniques are being compromised, as the coaches may or may be able to crowd control. And this
mm,
is where injuries happen.
mm.
See, back in coaching here, I'm working alongside with a few physios and chiros. Um, CrossFit people are making them a lot of money,
CrossFit
and
and
they have
futsal.
futsal not that much compared to the CrossFitters here. You know,
Oh.
um, what is amazing is that they're able to get people out to exercise. That hats off to them, right? Um, and again, it may not be everyone's cup of tea. That's fine. You should do what you enjoy most. So like you enjoy your rhythmic boxing, you enjoy your rhythmic cycling. Do what you enjoy, because if you're doing something that you don't not enjoy or something that doesn't resonate with you, you're gonna end up hating the entire journey itself. For those who enjoy CrossFit, yeah, continue doing it, but be mindful of your technique. Be mindful of how you execute the certain exercises like snatch or the Olympic lift.
Mm.
Yeah, those are the ones that actually made my friends a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking about injuries, when I used to go to the gym regularly without much supervision, but I just work out with friends,
Hmm.
I have a thought about this, but a lot of people do this in the gym, which is like you said, there's certain exercises that are a bit more advanced, right? So if you go to a
Hmm.
normal gym, I believe this happens in this is something in coaching as well.
Hmm.
I see people doing this, and this is just my thought, but I would love to hear from you. I see a
Hmm.
lot of people doing something called deadlifts at
Okay.
gyms, and it's part of their
Yep.
workout, especially back day. I'm like,
Hmm.
I think of it for what I want, a non-Homer Simpson body. I don't have
Hmm.
to raise my back to do that. That's what I think, right?
Hmm.
But almost every single fit guy in the gym, even in KL, even not the CrossFit gyms, right? The normal gyms would be doing very big deadlifts, very like boom deadlifts, right? So
Yep,
what are your thoughts on, like, we mentioned a few exercises like, you know, Olympic lifting and things like that. So like, what are your thoughts on these exercises for an average person?
Okay, so deadlift, a compound exercise. I do it myself.
Mm,
Do I still do it every once in a while?
mm,
Is it necessary to do deadlift in order to get in shape? No. If
mm,
you're a powerlifter, yes. If you're into bodybuilding, yes. Right.
mm,
If you're into functional fitness, yes. Why?
mm,
For powerlifting, again, deadlift is part of the requirement. One of the
mm,
required move that they need to perform, right?
mm,
Uh, from a bodybuilding standpoint, is that when you're able to lift heavier weight, you're actually getting more, you're able to build more muscle mass,
mm,
right? So it's one way to continue to get stronger. It
mm,
depends on your goal. What are you trying to achieve?
mm,
So if you were to say that, oh, I need to do deadlift in order to look a certain way. Okay. If a 60-year-old man who had just had hip surgery come in and see me, I would not get him to do deadlifts.
okay, okay.
Yeah. Again, it all comes down to what you're trying to achieve.
Mm. All right, that is great advice. So okay, final one. Then we can go to the last question. So final one, right? I would like to ask you. This is actually someone who approached me on LinkedIn. So someone
Okay.
approached to me on LinkedIn about this type of exercise. So maybe to get your thoughts on this as well. So I'm not sure
Mhm.
if I can call it an exercise, but basically they put electric resistance to your body, and then they say like you're doing don't know how many push-ups in 20 minutes, whatever, and you whatever. So I don't even know what it
Yeah,
is. I'm not a
yeah.
fitness expert, but what are your thoughts on that? You know what I mean, right? I don't even know the
Yes,
proper
yes.
name for that.
If I am not mistaken, I think that's what you call the EMS.
Ah, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, what EMS is that it gets you to put on a suit, you
Mm,
with several wires. So what it does is that it stimulates your muscles through those tiny electrodes that, in a way, accelerates your workout and, in a way, enhance your body toning results.
mm.
Okay. Um. Okay. How should I make this sound friendly?
Oh, you don't have to. You don't have to. So
Okay.
my audience has heard a lot of things. So
Okay.
anyway.
If this is something that can help you to get in shape and, in a way, make you stronger,
Mm,
why aren't Olympians using it?
mm,
Why aren't powerlifters using it? Why can't Olympic powerlifters use it to make themselves stronger? I mean, it could prevent less injuries,
mm,
you know. Again, I'm not saying it's not bad. It's possibly good for, I would say, people who are recovering from certain accidents or injuries. And probably they were not able to head to the gym to lift certain weights yet. And I would say that would be a good way to start off. Yeah, that's just my opinion of the EMS training.
right.
We recently had one in Kuching that just blew up as well. A few of our members actually went over and came back with the same question that you asked me. Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Also, also good to have
yeah.
that question. All right. So before we wrap up, so we have spent a lot more time than we have, and
Mhm,
so last question I'd like to ask is, can you share with us? So this is where the LinkedIn clip comes in, right? So I clip only the good parts onto LinkedIn. So can you share with us a success story of a client, like possibly like my LinkedIn audience, you know, like professionals and people are busy running their business or running their career.
mhm,
So could
mhm.
you give us a success story or someone you work with, and then we'll end with that.
Okay. So my success story is someone that I'm still currently working with after 6, 7 years. Okay. So when he first came to see me, he was training with another coach before me, right? He didn't enjoy what the other coach was doing with him because he had several issues. He had a a really bad accident. So had his spine fused. He had knee issues. He had shoulder issues, and his weight started booming up to 130 over kilos. And so he decided to like, you know what? I'll just give you a go. I'll give you 3 months. If in 3 months you're able to get me down to 100 kilos, I'm gonna continue with you. Instead of being another coach that tells you like, yeah, sure, I'll get you down 30 kilos. I think was like, nah, you're not gonna get down 30 kilos. The most I'm gonna get you down is probably 10, 12 kilos max. Um, 3 months later, we dropped 15 kilos. And on top of that, his knees, it was feeling better. His muscle when it comes to his lower back, where his spine is being fused, it actually got a lot better as well. It didn't hurt as he get up off the bed every morning. And until today, he's still training with me at 5:30 in the morning every day. Currently, his weight is sitting at 97 kilos. Yep. He's moving, he's hiking for someone who had spinal fusion, um, who had knee surgery. It even baffled him to a point that he's able to do all these extreme activities like hiking, bungee jumping, rock climbing. So yeah,
Roughly how old is he?
this year I would say he is 48.
Wow. Okay, okay, then we can
Yeah,
resonate. That's the
yeah,
LinkedIn age group
yeah,
there.
48. And when this comes in play with is 30 minutes of exercise enough? Yes, this is one of my client who comes in and see me, and we would get 30 minutes of exercise in, and the rest of the time that we have for the session, we end up just doing mobility exercises to make sure his body doesn't get stiff again. He travels a lot too. Because of his traveling schedule, we were still able to fit in that 30-minute workout. And yeah.
Awesome, great story there. So we'll end here. Thank you so much, Andrew. That's so for the questions were a bit unorthodox, but thank you for
All good.
sharing. I really love the conversation, and you are true person that knows your stuff. So hence it was a great conversation. So this will be on LinkedIn. So for the audience, please follow Andrew on LinkedIn, Andrew Liew on LinkedIn, and also many on Instagram as well, as you mentioned. So thanks so much, Andrew, for being on the show.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Bob. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity and this time with you.
Thank you, Andrew.
All right.